Welcome back to TRBusiness's Adapt and Survive Skype video interview series, where we invite stakeholders across the travel retail arena and the wider business to comment on the enduring coronavirus crisis and how it's impacted their businesses. This episode, I speak to Sammy Patel. He's the VP Commercial for Vantage Airport Group. Sammy, thank you for joining us for this episode. My first question, Sammy, is for our viewers who don't know Vantage Airport Group, aren't aware of its remit, its business activities, and the locations in which it operates. Can you briefly provide some background?
Yeah, hi, Luke. Let me start by saying thanks for giving Vantage the opportunity just to share its perspective in the current environment. And just as some background, Vantage is a leading investor, developer, and manager of airports around the world. We're in the business of making airports better, more efficient, more profitable, sustainable, and connecting them to the communities they serve. Over the past 25 years, we've developed and managed 31 airports around the globe. We've got almost $7 billion worth of assets under management currently, and our portfolio has stretched across 4 continents. But currently, we have a substantial presence over here in the United States, where I'm located, in Canada, Europe, and the Caribbean.
Thanks, Sammy. We'll come on to some of the more specific elements of the business in which you handle. We're now a number of months on since the beginning of the pandemic in March. Just provide us with a bit of a trace back, if you will, to those days in March when the pandemic was officially declared. Bring us up to date now. Quite how deeply has the pandemic affected the business, and crucially, how are you trying to mitigate against further damage?
Yeah, I'm not really sure where to start. The situation really is unprecedented, and I know, I'm sure you've heard that term and that phrase used so much, but it really is. I think what's been so astonishing is just the change of pace, and the situation has changed so fast. If I think back to sort of early March, the first couple of weeks were entirely different to the last couple of weeks. As we entered the end of March, we closed out the month with almost zero passenger traffic at the majority of our airports across the network, and that's not a situation we thought we'd ever find ourselves in. But the situation has evolved and moved so fast, almost on a daily basis. Now, of course, our commercial programs and corresponding revenues have suffered. And since then, we've been in almost daily contact with each of our partners, both airline and concessionaires and commercial operators, and sort of trying to work through them with how we can sort of make sure we can mitigate sort of any losses, but importantly, ensure the safety of our employees, their employees, and our passengers, stem the losses, and support them operationally and financially the best way we possibly can. Now, one of the things we've really benefited from is the fact that we are a network of airports, and we have the shared experience and knowledge throughout all these airports as well. So it's really been great to see the fact that we are stronger together as a network, because we can tackle these events and events such as this in a so much more flexible way. But I think what really is good to see is, we do see some light at the end of the tunnel. March almost seems such a lifetime away with everything which has happened. We do have some movement at a number of our airports. So in the case of Cyprus and the Bahamas and Jamaica, our airports are reopening, really thanks to some of the border restrictions which are easing. And over here in the US as well, we are seeing domestic passengers and that market recover far quickly and quicker than the international traffic. And that's certainly the case for our operation here in Chicago as well as New York.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks so much, Sammy. I want to talk to you about one of your concessions, particularly at LaGuardia. Now, obviously, you've been going through some very important developments, or redevelopments, should I say, at Terminal B, at the Arrivals and Departures Hall that you recently inaugurated, presided over what is quite a massive development project, $5.1 billion, part of a wider remit by the Governor of New York, Como, and the authorities to really inject some new life into this airport. Just tell us a bit about Vantage Airport Group's vision for the commercial experience here? We've seen the news in the past week, but what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, well, let me start by sort of telling you just in terms of how the sort of project's come about a bit and why it is such a transformational project. Now, as you can imagine, it's been a pretty busy few months as we prepare for the opening of the terminal during these crazy times. Opening the terminal in the middle of a pandemic is an entirely new experience for the team. And that's one thing for sure. We didn't see ourselves in this situation. But Vantage has been instrumental in the design, development, and operation of some of the world's leading commercial programs. And so this project, in the case of LaGuardia and Terminal B, has been in the making for over 5 years, and it's benefited from all those years of commercial experience Vantage has. It's been barely open a week, and it really is a testament to the hard work which has been put in there by our partners and our team as well. The project itself, as you mentioned, is a big dollar value. It's a $5.1 billion transformational project. It's centered really around redefining what it's like to travel through a North American airport. It's the largest public-private partnership in US aviation history. And it has given us the opportunity to showcase everything we do really well, from truly integrating the sense of place to engaging the way passengers feel and move within the terminal, and ultimately utilizing our strengths of partnerships and relationships we already have in place. In turn, it's really helped us create a truly exceptional program and deliver on what we said we would from day one, and that's really to help create an airport New Yorkers and Americans alike can be proud of. With our partners too, I'll be amiss not to mention them, but we worked with the leading commercial partners like SSP America, HMS Host, Hudson Group, and Marshall Retail Group have really helped bring this to life for us, and worked with them to essentially create something which is pretty inspiring for the passengers who go through Terminal B. We've got iconic New York favorites such as Shake Shack and Irving Farm Coffee Roasters and F.A. Schwartz in the Eastern Concourse. And as you just mentioned, with the opening of the Head House, the new Departures and Arrivals Hall last week, we've got an additional 20 new offerings. We've also created the first of its kind for at least a US airport with a 15,000 square foot world-class New York-centric shopping experience, just as passengers sort of leave the security checkpoint. I think we've done with our partners a really good job of sort of connecting the space with our passengers with an array of sort of iconic brands, as well as sort of state-of-the-art experiences to pay tribute really to the city's rich history and cultural diversity.
I mean, it has got a very strong emphasis on New York-inspired brands. As you mentioned, it's quite eclectic. Post-security, you mentioned Marshall Retail Group, particularly, they have a sizable footprint. I wondered, Sammy, how difficult has it been to reconcile demand for homegrown brands, of which there are many, and which they serve predominantly a heavy mix of North American passengers, with a more international mix? You've got international beauty and fashion brands, big labels there. How difficult has it been to reconcile those two together? And what really is the plan for LaGuardia in terms of its international status? JFK has been a leader for a long time. Is there a plan to challenge that?
So great question. I can certainly tell you, I know our team had a lot of fun putting this program together. And I think, I can't wait for the reactions passengers continue to have as they go through the airport, because it is so different to many of the other US airports around us, including those in New York too as well. But our sort of methodologies remain the same for a number of years. The first thing for us to do is really understand the passengers using the airport. And after extensive research and analysis, I feel we've created a program which really speaks to the passengers traveling to and from New York, and what they want to see, feel, smell, and taste. Now, LaGuardia is largely a domestic airport. JFK and Newark typically serve the international traffic, and as I said, we particularly handle all sort of the domestic traffic through United Airlines, American Airlines, Southwest, and Air Canada, with some routes over into Toronto. But we've got an airport and a terminal which really heavily focuses on the business traveler during the week, and then really has a step change over the weekend, focusing on the VFR and leisure traffic. And of course, our passengers in the morning have an entirely different set of needs than to those in the afternoon. So you couple all that together, that's what really has driven the sort of the dynamic retail shopping food program within the building. We wanted to make sure, we created and celebrated the vibrancy of New York. We have a strong balance between local, national, and global. Where we've certainly benefited from is the fact that we haven't exactly been short of choices. We're in New York, and with that, many of those local, national, and global brands are from New York. They are on the world scale already, so we've really benefited from the fact they are actually homegrown in New York, but they are also on a global scale too as well. And as you mentioned, certainly if you're traveling through, and hopefully you will sometime in the future, you'll find that it is heavily focused on New York City, but the state as well. And we're really trying to push sort of the global sort of level, but ensure certainly for those domestic passengers, it is renowned and resonant of the local area. Now, I think the other sort of important point for us has been, we all know, more so now than ever, consumer behaviors and trends change, and the programs needs to adapt to stay relevant. And ours is no different, and we've had that in mind as we programmed this out. So we've created ample spaces and areas within the program where we'll continue to keep the program new and fresh and surprising for those frequent travelers. LaGuardia does see a high set and percentage of frequent travelers coming through the building, so we don't want it to become stale. And the partnership we have across with our food, beverage, and retail partners have really helped sort of bring that to life, and we'll continue to do so over the years. And we've got spaces too, which allow us to partner with the new and upcoming brands and operators from the local community to really give them an opportunity to showcase what they have to the world. So, we still have some work to do, but we're coming from a solid foundation, and it will continue to change and evolve as the market needs and habits change as well. And it's something I'm certainly really looking forward to get stuck into.
Sammy, pivoting away now from the airports business towards the railways business, it's merged just recently that Vantage Airport Group has been selected as the station retail operator, or retail contractor rather, for the Grey 30th Street station in Philadelphia with Amtrak's 50-year concession. Tell us about the importance of this, what the commercial plans are, briefly, and tell us a little bit about other projects that Vantage Airport Group are currently pursuing.
That news is literally hot off the press. So we were in a great position yesterday where we were told by Amtrak that we were part of the winning team to redevelop Philadelphia 30th Street Station and have an agreement for 50 years. It's one of the longest agreements we have. Now, Vantage's role there will be to transform the entire commercial program. And again, similar to our approach in New York and LaGuardia, we really want to make sure, we do our part in making sure the communities around Philadelphia feel proud of what we're going to do there by bringing in local business and finding that right balance between local and national brands and create that sort of sense of place, but also, have a transportation facility where they don't want to get in and get out of, and actually they may feel that actually this is not a bad place to actually spend time, come a little bit earlier, or even just come for lunch from the neighboring communities. So we have a lot more work to do. We're at the very sort of earliest stages of that, where we're really thankful to be part of the winning team and have Amtrak show the confidence in us to use our experience, which is built over the past 25 years in the airport field, and to bring that to a whole new area within the transportation industry. So watch this space. In terms of some sort of certainly other things going on, we had a lot going on prior to the pandemic, and we continue to do so. The pandemic has certainly put a twist on things, that's certainly for sure. But we have a major redevelopment project underway in Chicago right now. We've partnered there with SSP America and the Hudson Group. We've developed together a pretty new, one-of-a-kind sort of innovative joint venture where our commercial relationship is entirely different versus some of the sort of other operators and developers here in the United States. We started the project a few years ago, and in that short space of time, we really have seen some good successes. We've seen double-digit growth in sort of revenue, both in terms of sales and revenue to the city of Chicago, and we've also seen the highest local minority participation rate here in the United States as well. It's certainly an exciting and eye-opening project to be a part of, and we look forward to that sort of continuing over the course of the next few years as we finish the redevelopment project and go into full operation. Sort of over in Cyprus, where we were already underway with a pretty major commercial concessions redevelopment program there as well, at both Larnaca and Paphos airports. So, you know, once both of those airport projects are complete, we're expecting some significant increase in our spend rates as well as satisfaction levels to have a program which is more up to date with the passenger profiles we're seeing at both of those airports. The passenger there has changed pretty dramatically over the course of the past 5 years, with the routes and the airlines operating there changing significantly too as well. And our team are already actually reaping the benefits of a recently implemented parking strategy and plan there as well. And if I move over to the Caribbean, our team in Montego Bay have just reopened for operations recently too as well, have also recently just awarded a number of several bids under our forthcoming redevelopment program there. So we're looking to expand the terminal, create some additional concession space, and really, again, redefine how our passengers move in the building and what they experience as far as the commercial offer is concerned. And, you know, that project's going to take a fair few years. So I know they're going to be pretty busy and looking forward to getting stuck into that too as well. So a lot going on. It's great to see passengers slowly returning our airports, you know, reopening in line with that too as well. And I really hope we can keep the sort of positive momentum we've seen over the past couple of weeks and get back to doing what we do best.
A lot of work ahead, a lot of hard work ahead, dovetailing with what we hope will be a slow recovery to international traffic volumes in not too distant future. Sammy Patel, thank you very much for speaking today to us.
Great to speak to you.